Once again, Manosphere guys. This is how they think of you.
What is your take on that?
I think that is right. I haven't read the entire article. I don't know if it's 100% right, but from what you read to me, it is spot on. I have never, the people in the Manosphere are gayer than my gay friends. And they talk about gay sex and penises more than my gay friends. And they're obsessed with it. And they're obsessed with each other. If you look on social media now, not every, but many of the videos are about bromances or bro, or like, my bro was acting gay and I had to like, or it's like, it's not gay if. Yeah, I think it's right. And why else would you be showing someone yourself getting a blowjob? Of course it's about you. It's about the guys. And, I don't want to see my straight friends having sex. I don't want to see sex with my straight friends. And I don't want to see sex with my gay friends. So the Manosphere is gayer than me.
I completely agree with this. When you see like Joe Rogan's podcast, and it's always, 3 or 4 men in there and they're going on and on, or when you see the videos of RFK exercising with Kid Rock, and that's, bizarre for a multitude of reasons, but it appears.
Okay. In this woman's eyes, men working out together is weird. I didn't know having a workout partner was a bad thing. Okay. Once again, that's why this woman, Jennifer Welch, she's dangerous. In one instance, your views may align with her, but in another instance, she is vehemently against anything patriarchal, anything against, like men leading the way or whatever the case may be. Like, she's vehemently against that type of shit. Okay, she's a Democrat, she's a liberal. Nonetheless, a woman like this is dangerous. Let's continue.
That like this sect of American culture is happiest in homosocial relationships. And inside these homosocial relationships, there is a lot of talk about gayness and this is gay or that is gay. I saw this weird quote from Andrew Tate. And he was saying, like, if you have sex with a woman and not to get her pregnant, that's gay. He basically called heterosexual sex gay. And I'm just like, the closet, you can open it, honey. You can open that door right on up and it will solve a lot of these issues.
There are so many of these guys, and we know especially a lot of these guys are on the conservative side. And there are so many guys on the conservative side who are repressed and who are in the closet. And I agree with you. I think they should just let their freak flag fly, let their gay flag fly, or their bisexual flag. I think we will all be better off when we realize that sexuality is something that is fluid. It's not 100% one way or 100% the other. Some people may be more prone to, one sex than the other. But
okay, hey, be careful. This rhetoric that Don is spouting, y'all, because a lot of our kids and grandkids are going to be gender fluid. One day they gonna be with a girl, the next day they gonna be with a boy. It's gonna be like, what the hell? Yeah, well, I didn't feel like being with a girl today. I feel like being with a little boy. Matter of fact, my kiddos, one girl was like, yeah, I broke up with my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Not, she's in the sixth grade. She's sixth grade. Okay, mind you. And she's like, hey, coach, I got a new crush. I said, oh, yeah, okay, where's he at? No, she's over there. Huh. I was like, well, does she know she's your crush? Yeah, I told her. I said, oh, okay, what'd she say? She had to think about it. I said, oh, okay, well, considering, last week, you dumped your boy. Yeah, he was irritating me, so now I like her. Huh. This is going on now. Right now. Okay? Right now. Let us continue. Let's continue.
But I think it's as when we get out of that sort of mindset, I think everyone will be better. And I think they're doing this is because of their repression. I think that they're so obsessed with their bro or their best friend or whatever that it's because it's a latent homosexuality and repression all mixed together. So, I mean, am I surprised by this article? No, this article is something that you and I have been knowing forever since we became aware adults.
I completely agree. I think that there's also a phenomenon where somebody, like, I agree with you, it's fluid. I think there's a phenomenon where, porn is a lot more accessible now and men are watching it, and women are watching it a lot more at younger ages, right at their fingertips.
Okay. I disagree. When has porn not been accessible? It's been accessible since we had the HBO Cinemax brown box. What year was that? When has porn never not been accessible? Even they went to Blockbuster and you turn a corner, you go all the way in the back and turn the corner. There's the X-rated section, or you go to Hollywood Video. There's no way. We could, if we wanted to get it, we could get it. You go into the bookstore and the magazines in a brown paper bag, the Blacktail, wait. The Blacktail magazine. Can we talk about how great Blacktail magazine was? Anybody used to know? Am I the only? It has some excellent articles. Blacktail. I think it was ahead of its time for what it was. I mean, Playboy is different. You know, Playboy had the higher intellectual spin with its commentary and its topics and stuff, but Blacktail magazine, man, those were the good old days. Let's continue, wrap this up and get to the next topic. Player was okay, but Player was just trying to compete with Hustler and whatever. There was nothing intellectual. It didn't have an intellectual side to it, but Blacktail had some pretty good articles in it as well, right? There's a bunch of magazines that came out back then that was competing with Blacktail. I totally forget. It was a lot. Okay, but no, my point is porn has always been accessible. There was never not a time no one couldn't get it. We burning DVDs left and right. I mean, what are we talking about? Let's go.
I think there are moments. Yes, they're watching for the dicks. There's a moment where there's a triple Trumper with his pickup truck. The truck has, pictures of grenades, stickers, God, guns, Trump, stickers. And he's watching a little porn one night, and then he sees a hard penis. And that is when the magic happens. And then afterwards, he's like, oh my God, I feel gay. And then it starts this whole vicious cycle. And I think what we see with conservative men is they want to be punitive towards the people they fetishize. Abortion laws, draconian abortion laws, are nothing more than being punitive to women. So you have a lot of men who were raised in uber religious households that feel like, if I am punitive towards these women, maybe I won't be attracted to them anymore. Then you have the ones that are bi-curious and or just straight up closeted gay that want to be punitive towards gay men. And that's why we have all of this increase in LGBTQ hate legislation. But let's read a little bit more into this article. I have truly met gay men who are not as gay as this. This is what you just said. Go along.
Yep.
Many of these manfluencers are infinitely more comfortable performing for men than they are existing near women.
I want to reiterate the point when Andrew Tate said he would rather have sex with a beautiful tranny than an ugly woman that looks like Hulk Hogan. Remember that. Remember that infamous line he just said, just scoot it off to the side. So Andrew Tate would rather sleep with a beautiful tranny than a woman that looks like Hulk Hogan. Okay? Somehow that didn't kill his career, which I don't understand how you guys let him get away with that. But okay, let's continue.
That was my next thought. I don't know how much more you have to read, but can I jump in here?
No, jump in here, yeah, and then we'll pull it back.
Okay, because if you're looking at how people socialize now, the socialization of people, many of these people don't. They're online all the time. They don't have any interactions with women. They're more comfortable hanging out with their guy friends or their school friends, and so they don't have much interactions with women. And if you look at now, kids aren't having as much sex as we did when we were growing up, right? They're not drinking, they're not socializing, they're not going to meeting in bars. And so I believe that these guys are more comfortable around men. And so they develop these relationships, whether it's romantic or not. And sometimes they're romantic and they don't even realize it. And the person that they are closest to, not necessarily their girlfriends or their families, it's their bros that they hang out with. And that the reason that they're comfortable with it is because they're like them. And I also believe that porn has desensitized people to homosexuality, and they may be more open to having sex with each other. And quite frankly, I've heard people say, I'm not gay, but it's easier to have sex with a man than it is to have a relationship with a woman.
Now pay attention. That went over a lot of people's heads. Now I've seen some things behind the wall. I've heard conversations. There's a running joke where some other races don't view it. It's like, just I took care of the homie, but I'm not gay. I've heard this rhetoric before. That's why when these guys come out after doing 10, 15, 20 years, they don't think of themselves like that. Right? And if they'll parole to a woman's house, and he makes her do all kinds of weird shit that she's like, what is this? American Me. Remember he got out and all he did was fuck old girl in the ass, and she was like, what is this? but that's all he knew. But in his mind, he wasn't gay. That's just how he had sex. That's all he ever knew was the butthole, right? So I've heard these guys, I've seen these guys, and in their minds, they're like, nah, that's what you do. You take care of the homie. And the woman's just like, what do you do? What do you do? But to get back to his point, what he's saying is, they're saying that's how difficult it is to have a relationship with a woman. It's that hard for them, right? The very thought of being in a relationship with a woman will give you high blood pressure, anxiety. So in their minds, is this better or is this easier, less stressful to be with a guy for a night or two than to actually deal with a woman 24/7? And then it's a lot to unpack, man. It's a lot to unpack.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, I'm not gay, but it's easier to have sex with a man. And if a man says that, that's fucking gay. There was
but if they're on the receiving end of oral sex, then they're not the gay one. And if someone else is on the receiving end in their minds, and
right.
Well, didn't Tank say? That's what Tank said. If you got it from a guy, that's not gay. That's what Tank said. So don't laugh at Don Lemon and Jennifer Welch. You're some of y'all's celebrities have said the same thing. So what y'all talking about? Okay, come on.
Someone else is on the receiving end of, penetration, then they're not gay. So, it's a weird
reach around.
Thing. And yes. And there's a study that shows now, Jen, that people are okay with homosexuality as long as the person is not feminine. If you are a dude, or I keep saying bro, if you're like a manosphere kind of guy like that, they're okay with it. But if you are someone who presents as feminine or effeminate, then that's the gayness that they're not okay with. So that kind of proves what we were just saying and what you just read.
Exactly. Okay, Kylie, let's finish up the article. There's an academic term for when men organize their entire emotional and social world around the approval of other men, homosociality. It's not a slur, it's a sociology word. The manosphere is just homosociality if it was an MLM. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it. The lonely 19-year-old watching these videos at 2 a.m. isn't really trying to learn how to talk to women. He's trying to feel close to Andrew Tate. He has a crush. He is being charged for it.
I kind of just said something.
You said the exact same thing. You said, yeah.
That's what it is. And so just come out already. But they don't even realize it. Like, they need a good therapist to, when I see people all the time and they talk to me and they're, very about things and about gay issues. And I'm like, you're gay. I don't necessarily always tell them. I'm like, you're gay. Why don't you just come out? And I have so many acquaintances and people who are sort of on the periphery of my social circle who don't even realize that they're gay. They can't even fathom that they're gay. And I'm like, and maybe once, when they are 50, 60 years old, they may, realize it and come to terms with it. But, in the old days, we used to just call that being in the closet and feeling that you had to go along with society and you married a woman, right? Now they just don't even know that they're gay.
What do you think moving forward? There's so much we have to move forward with.
Okay, I'll end it there. But remember that the trainee Canadian was making its way around certain circles, and people were just lining up to interview the person. Okay. All right. I'll leave it there.